All right, so everybody, welcome to Pathfinders Podcast. Today we have our guests. We have Kamasi here, who is a spoken word poet.
Snap.
And so we got a couple announcements. Pathfinders has their March Madness event coming up on March 29th. It is a community day gathering in the starting at 4 o'clock from 4 to 6. And then later that night, they will have an all-boys lock-in from starting like at 6:30 up until 7 a.m. the next day. They also have their adult prom coming up in April. I don't remember
April 13th.
what day. April 13th.
Yeah, I got
All right.
tickets. Yeah, April 13th.
So if you don't know anything about it, you can go to Pathfinders Facebook page, Pathfinders of Muskegon, and it's all there. Trust me, it's a bunch of different posts all about it. And so go ahead and check that out. All right, now we have our guest, Kamasi, who is a part of React Radio. That's WRIACK Radio. You can get them at www.reactradio.com and reactradio@hotmail.com. Their telephone number, 231-855-0540. And welcome, Kamasi.
Hey, y'all, what's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, all right. Now this is if y'all don't know, we had to reschedule this a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Because we got so many busy schedules going on. But it's glad to have you here finally again, so we can do this over and get it right this time.
Yep.
So just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, so the people know what you do here in the community, so the people can know.
Okay. Well, my name's Kamasi Mack. Spoken word artist, poet, community activist, mentor, father, husband, son. But I go by Kaiser Kabir. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yep. I go by Kaiser Kabir. That's my social media name, and also my podcast personality name, Kaiser Kabir. I do poetry at the Hideout Bar and Grill. That's downtown Muskegon Heights. That's on 100 East Broadway, Muskegon Heights, Michigan 49444. And that's the second Sunday of every month. Usually shows from 7 to 10, 10:30ish, whatever. Doors open at 7. Showtime starts at 7:30. There's a $5 cover charge, but the inspiration is always free. I usually have a guest poet each month, like last month. Well, for this month, for March, a few weeks ago, I had Azizi Jasper, hailing from Detroit, Michigan. And also had Moody Black, all the way from South Carolina. Also, for April, which will be April 14th, will be the next open mic. And that will be, like I said, at the Hideout. And I have Al Stevenson coming from the Battle Creek, Kalamazoo area. And I've been doing that since November of 2017.
Okay, all right. And I've heard nothing but good things about it. I heard you had real professionals out there with some very compelling content, which is what I like to hear. All right, so how did you get started in spoken word?
Oh, what got me involved in spoken word was growing up, and I grew up in a single mother home. Like, I didn't grow up with my biological father around. It's like when I was younger, I kind of knew who my father was. I just never met him. Like, when I was younger, he used to, write me. He used to send me letters. I talked to him on the phone. He used to send me gifts and things of that sort. But once my mother got married, I was around 10, 11. And it's like once my mom got married, all the communication, phone calls kind of stopped. The letters stopped, all the gifts stopped, so I became angry. And as a child, I'm thinking, mom done moved on, so dad don't want to be a part of my life no more. And so I became real resilient towards my mother and a lot of people around me. I didn't have nobody like positive role model, like male role models to, stir me in the right direction. So how I dealt with anger was I used to write a lot of things down, sort of like a journal type thing. I used to write a lot of things down, so that's what really got me involved with the poetry. I used to write a lot of things down, and then, started writing things down. A lot of friends was calling themselves rappers and everything and all this and that. So I was influenced by that as well. But for the most part, it started off as a therapy thing to help me deal with anger and all the different emotions of not having my father around. And it's crazy because once I became of age, and grew, got a little older and everything about me, when I finally was able to meet my father in the physical form, it's like this whole time I've been walking this journey trying to find my identity, and it's like I was like a split image of my father. Like they say, the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Like that's really a true like statement. Like I really understand and feel that because like here it is. I'm a poet. My father's a poet. My pops went to the military. I went to the military. We both went to the Navy.
All right.
My pop's birthday is literally the day before mine. My pop's birthday January 23rd. Mine is January 24th.
Wow.
So it's like this whole time I'm walking trying to find my identity, and it's already within my DNA. The same person I'm looking for is already within me, So that's a little history of the birth of Kaizen Kabir. And it's crazy. I used to go by abstract poet.
Okay.
Because a lot of my poetry, I write a lot of deep poetry, and sometimes people might not understand. It might go over their head because it's little. Like when I write, I want people to actually be able to really think about things. It's not more so about the rhyming part. I'm trying to like really educate, raise consciousness. So I want you to really be able to think. I want to paint a picture with my words. So as I'm reciting the piece, I want you to be able to visualize that. And visualize what I'm coming from, that expression, that emotion and everything.
All right. Now, for those who don't know what spoken word is, can you just explain to us what it is exactly?
Yeah, spoken word pretty much is it's the difference between spoken word and poetry. Spoken word is pretty much the performance base of poetry. When you do spoken word, it's pretty much the poetry form and performance in front of an audience or on stage or something of that sort. Poetry is pretty much, you have your poets that, when you write it down on paper, you have different forms of poetry. Give an example like a haiku. A haiku is a Japanese form of poetry, and it's 17 syllables. So, and it's 3 lines. The first line is like 5 syllables. The second line is 7 syllables, and then the third line is 5 syllables.
Okay.
So.
Okay, I think I've kind of heard of that.
Yeah. So
when I was in college and doing studying music history.
Yeah, but poetry and spoken word pretty much is like I said. Spoken word is pretty much the performance piece, bonds like based on performance and of poetry and all that sort.
Okay. All right. So now, when you perform spoken word, what does it consist of?
Man, it's I'm kind of animated a little bit of some sort. I try to be animated. I try to, as an artist, like a lot of artists feel this way, and it's common. As an artist, you want to receive the same energy you give from your crowd and your audience. You want to receive the same energy you give, or you want to give that same energy you want to receive, or vice versa. So, pretty much I'm kind of like, it depends on what type of poem or poetry I'm doing. Like if I'm doing like one of my so-called powerful black power, black man, black powerful pieces, I'm going to be real, trying to, be real calm and try to make sure I have that demeanor of that powerful demeanor. Like I'm demanding your respect right now. I want you to be able to pay attention. Like I want you to be able to listen and let my words resonate. Each word that I spit out I want that to resonate. I want you to be able, when you go home and think about what he said, oh man, I remember that poem when he said this. I want that to be able to resonate in your mind, and I want you to be able to think and make you, want to elevate as a person, as an individual, And
that's kind of what makes spoken word what it is. And this is what makes it so impactful upon people that encounter is that it's so compelling. It's something they can relate to.
Yes.
And they find it to be very relevant and important content, not just to their lives, but to the life of the person that's given the spoken word as well. It kind of gives them insight on what they, kind of like how comedians and artists and everyone else, when they perform, they want some type of compelling conversation and relationship to happen between the performer and the audience. So yeah, I dig that.
Cause it's not easy getting on that stage.
No,
it's not. That's very hard. Like, even though I've been doing this for so long, it still be times where I get ready to perform and I still get them butterflies. But it's not like now. It's not nervousness, you know, and it's just the anxiety, the excitement, you know what I mean. So it's like you still have that feeling. Like I said, it's not easy getting on stage, especially if you're in a room full of strangers and you really spitting your, you know, it's intimate, you know what I'm saying? You telling people your intimate most thoughts. Yeah, you opening up, you know what I'm saying? So you're being vulnerable.
Right.
Amongst, you know what I'm saying, people that you don't know, strangers. So it's not easy doing that. Whether it's poetry, if you're singing, you know what I mean, or if you're doing comedy, just as far as like just doing public speaking or motivational speaking, it's not easy getting on that stage in front of a crowd of people.
Right. So now, you kind of, well, you described it already, but so pick 3 words to describe your style of spoken word.
Abstract, powerful, and just raw. I'm gonna add another word, unapologetic.
Okay.
I'm gonna add another word, unapologetic. I know you said 3, but I'm gonna do 4. I went to the right school too, y'all. I know how to do math. I just felt like adding an extra word. That's the poet in me.
Right. Now, so you have one location that you hold your shows at, right?
Yes.
What's that location again?
Oh, that's the Hideout Bar and Grill. That's downtown Muskegon Heights at 100 East Broadway, Muskegon Heights, Michigan 49444. But I also, you know, I do poetry. I just did a show with open mic at the Muskegon Museum of Art just a few weeks ago on February 28th, and that was in conjunction with the Sons exhibit. I was blessed and honored to be able to be in part of the Sons exhibit, which was the Sons seeing a modern African American male, and my photo was placed. You know, it was in an exhibit in the museum, and that ran from December 13th all the way to March 10th. And that's how I was able to do the open mic at the Muskegon Museum of Art. Also, you know, whenever there's some type of open mic or anything dealing with poetry in the Muskegon area, Muskegon Heights, I always try to be a part of it as much as I can. Like, I was just at the Red Lotus Art Gallery last night. They do their poetry I want to say the 3rd or 4th Fridays of every month. Okay. The third Fridays of every month. And I've been, you know, building relationships with them down there. Shout out to Kwame, Heidi from Red Lotus.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know what the Red Lotus is, they're an open mic event that they do like is it second Saturday?
No, it was third Friday. Yeah, third Friday.
Third Friday. Okay.
Friday. That's from 7 to 9.
And are they still meeting downtown in that art gallery they have down there?
Yep.
Okay.
And that's the art gallery is located I don't know the exact address. I know it's on the Western. It's right downstairs in the basement area of the Century Building.
All right. So now, are people able to join when you do your events? Are they able to just sign up or? Yes, yeah. So now, how far in advance do they have to do that?
Oh no, you can hit the message board on the React Radio page, or you know, hit us up that's React Radio at hotmail.com, or check out the website. That was www.reactradio.com. Check the message board. I have a section on the website where it's poetry and events. Email us. Let me know that you want to be a featured artist, or you want to participate, or doing the shows. I usually have a sign-up sheet available at the front door. So as you walk in, the sign-up sheet is right there. So if you want to sign up, you're more than welcome to sign up. And participation is highly encouraged. I would love to, do this. Another reason I do the open mics, to give people the platform and the opportunity where they can come out and share their gifts and talents. But I always have a sign-up sheet available. Or if you want to call me personally, my number 231-725-5721. My personal email is abstractpoet7@gmail.com. Like I said, or if you know me personally, everybody know me. I'm a social person, so if you see me out and about, shoot me a text, email, inbox, let me know, hey, Mossy, I want to be down. I'll sign you up.
All right. So, 2 quick questions, and then we're going to go to a break.
Okay.
All right. So, what should people expect when they attend one of your shows?
Oh man, the show's it's pretty much just live, man. It's gonna be a lot of excitement. It's gonna be a very laid back, intimate atmosphere. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be a great show. It's gonna be full of excitement. It's like I said, I always have make sure I have some sort of featured artist. The local talent here in Muskegon is outstanding. It's going to be diverse. Like each show is starting to become more diverse, with different styles of poetry, and like might have somebody coming there playing the guitar, musicians playing the guitar. You might hear some gospel, some rock and roll, somebody singing or storytelling, comedy. So it's very diverse.
All right. So now, what should people take away from when they attend one of your shows?
Just education. Well, I have to say, I would got hood. I have to say something ratchet. I have to say education. No, what they should be able to take away is the ambiance, the energy. You know what I mean? Inspirational. You're going to be inspired by something you hear. You know what I mean? Like, for example, the show I just did at the Muskegon Museum of Art. During the midst of the show, there was a guy that was there, and he came and he was like, hey, do you mind if I sign up? I've been here for the last 30, 40 minutes, and I'm enjoying the show. I feel kind of inspired. I want to share a piece. So I'm like, you know what? Cool, go ahead. And I let the guy go up there and do the piece, and honestly, the piece was so powerful and so moving. I believe he had everybody in attendance crying, including me. And I'm thinking, man, I let this man go on the stage. And he got me at my own show. He got me teary-eyed. But the poem that he did was pretty much, he was describing his wife, had breast cancer, and she had her breast amputated. And the way he described, by her having her breast amputated, how she felt less of a woman and had, fake breasts, but he was she looked at them as scars and wounds, but he was looking as if they was beauty marks, and he made him love her more. And it's just the way he expressed that was real love. I'm sitting there thinking wow, I don't even love myself that much. You know what I mean? The way he really broke it down. And it's like I was saying earlier, it's kind of hard getting in a room full of strangers and being able to express that, especially something of that sort. That was very intimate and private amongst him and his wife, and she was in the audience. So I'm not sure if he told her, babe, I'm finna go do this, you know what I mean, or if he just caught her by surprise. So by him being able to do that, and then she's right there, and he's talking about her, you know what I'm saying, that was just very powerful. That was a very, very emotional time. But as far as coming to the hideout, you're going to leave, you're going to leave there inspired, motivated, and you're going to want more. And it's always going to be that question, when the next one? And another thing I do at the hideout, I try to do different games. I have the no rhyme haiku game. I have a little thing where people... I sit on the stage, it's a little blindfold thing, a little box you can stand behind, and just hide it behind the scene, hide they scared, stage fright, or they're nervous. You can stand behind this. Even though people might see you go behind it, it's just a mental thing. You can stand behind it. You don't have to see the audience, and they can't see you, and then you can, perform your piece like that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm doing this all for the village, man. Doing it for the village of the community.
Have a little fun here. So who would you choose? Thor, Hawk. Who would win?
Ooh. Thor or the Hawk?
Mm-hmm.
Man, hold on. I think I'm going to have to holler at Thor, man.
Really?
Yeah, I think, and I don't know if it's because of this, the Infinity War, when I seen the way Hawk was scared to fight Thanos, and then how I seen how Thor was really handling Thanos when he got his new weapon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think I'm gonna have to ride with Thor on that one.
Oh, I don't know. it's a tight one. It's a tight one. Personally, I would choose Hawk.
It depends on which Hawk we talking about. We talking about the green Hawk, red Hawk. You know, a lot of people don't even know the different colors. You know.
Well, man, we can. I can talk about that all day. I can talk about that all day. Okay.
I'm just going based on not the comic book versions. I'm going by the Marvel, Disney movies that I have seen and the way Thanos beat up Hawk in the beginning of the Infinity War, and he was scared to come out.
So, okay, if we go by just what we've seen in theaters, I would still pick Hawk.
Okay.
I would pick Hawk for the simple fact that he has more determination and motivation than Thor does.
Yeah. Well, they both get driven off of emotions, though. You know, with the Hawk, he get driven off of anger, and then, you know, where it comes to...
Well, look where his anger comes from, though. And then you look at Thor doesn't have anything motivating him to do anything.
Yeah.
Thor is just like, I'm God of War. Or, I got to win.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, Ferrari or Lamborghini?
Ooh, Ferrari or a Lambo? I'm gonna say a Lambo. Lamborghini. No, give me that Ferrari, man. Give me a Porsche. Give me a Ferrari.
They so small though. They're so little inside. I would pick the Lamborghini personally, but
the Lambo will be straight. But I think the Porsche, cause you know. Sorry, Queen. If you ever get just to watch it, I could just ride dolo in the Porsche, just hit the West Coast and hit around the mountains and everything. You know, you see in the movies and they be just flying, going around the curves and all that stuff.
All right. So Nas or Jay-Z?
Oh man, now you getting deep and personal, man. Nah, oh my. Whoo, Nas or Jay-Z?
I'm Nas.
See, I was going to
He's
say,
very
like,
intellectual. I like that.
I like Jay-Z music. I'm not just gonna discredit Jay-Z, but me, and then especially by me being an artist and the type of person I am as an artist, I'm more so of a more intellectual type person. So I gotta ride with Nas on that too. Queensbridge. He'll be forever.
Okay, Lakers or Celtics?
Lakers or Celtics? I gotta go with the Lakers, man. And not because of Bron. I'm talking about the old '80s Lakers. You know, when they had Magic and Kobe. I'm a big time Kobe fan. So.
All right. So now, what reflections of the community of Muskegon Heights from when you were growing up compared to now? What reflections do you have on that?
Man, I don't even want to talk down about my city, my community, man, but I believe we have went downhill. We really have. As a community, you know what I mean? Like, we really have went downhill. I remember growing up and living with my granny on the 2500 block of Baker, you know, and I remember I went to Edgewood as an elementary school, and we had teachers that was from our community, teachers that looked like us. You know what I mean? So, and we learned things. It was more like a village. If I went around the corner and I did something wrong, and I was at a friend's house, and their mom decided to whoop me or whatever, she whooped me, she took me home, and then I got another whooping. Now we don't have that unity now. It's like, you don't touch my kids, don't do this and that. And then as far as the school systems right now, it's not. I don't want to disrespect this disclaimer that I don't want to disrespect the school system, but it is what it is. It's not where it used to be.
Not where it used to be.
As far as the safety of the community, it was trouble back then, but it wasn't as many killings right now. It wasn't as many, drugs. As far as all the blight, like I remember neighborhoods like over there off the south of the Heights and everything. There used to be nice neighborhoods and beautiful homes. You know what I mean?
I was in a neighborhood association meeting. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, but now if you ride it through, it's all potholes, all these drugs, all this blight, all this trash. So it's like we are going downhill. But at the same time, we have the power and the willpower, to make a come up. It's just all about, bridging that gap and people working together and networking together and building back that unity instead of we got to get out that crab in the barrel mentality.
So now, do you think spoken word can help connect the youth and the community?
Oh yes, yeah, yes indeed. That's one of the main reasons I do the poetry as well. Is, you know what I'm saying? I don't do it just because it's as a way to get money or anything like that. It's more so to raise consciousness, you know what I'm saying, and to be informative, you know what I'm saying, and use it to connect with like-minded people. Like I'm also a mentor in the group, you know, Comedic Kings, and so I use poetry as far as the mentor the youth as well. I use poetry as far as networking with other businesses and organizations and everything within the community as well. So the whole purpose of me doing the open mics and doing poetry and being spoken word is to raise that consciousness and that awareness around the community and the nation. That's part of me, and then it's the same thing as far as with the React Radio, with the podcast. The whole purpose behind the podcast is to bring awareness within the community on a national and a local level, standpoint or whatever.
Okay. So now, do you believe that the community is responsible for how everything is turned out within Muskegon Heights?
To a certain degree, yes.
Yeah. So we should turn that around.
I believe it starts with the people, which is us, the community. You know what I mean? As far as, you know, the people that's in office, you know what I'm saying, we have the power to vote them in office and things of that sort, but I really do believe it does start with us, the community. We have to get back. We got that mentality, that crab in the barrel mentality. We have to get back into, you know, having neighborhood associations, you know what I'm saying, making sure we get back to that village setting. You know, it takes a village to raise a child mentality. We have to get back into that instead of, oh, don't say that to my child, or you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy, you know. We got to get out of that, and then we got to start teaching these kids what's right and what's wrong. Because it starts with the youth. You know, they are the future. So if we not doing what we supposed to do, and we not leading by example, how do we expect to break this chain if we keep on repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again? It's like the next generation behind us, they not learning because they see us doing it, so we lead. And then most people and kids, they don't go by what you say, they go by what they see and what you do. So that's the whole purpose of leading by example. Like, for example, okay, I smoke cigarettes or whatever, so if I'm telling my child or my kids or the kids that I mentor, hey, smoking is bad for you, don't do that, say no to drugs, but then they seeing me smoke every day, it's like, how can you tell us not to smoke, Mr. Mac, but at the same time we sit there, we watch you do this, or Dad, how can you tell us not to smoke, but we sit there, you know what I'm saying, we watch you, it's like you confusing a child.
Right.
But yeah, we got to get back as a community, like, as far as like the village setting. Mm-hmm. And like you said earlier today, early in the interview, the podcast, you mentioned the community day that Pathfinders is doing next week on the 29th. I'm volunteering to be a chaperone for that all men's lock-in. Like the mentor group that I'm part of, you know, we're going to have some of our mentees come chaperone for that. That way, we, you know, like I said, it's all about building that bridge and building networks, and, you know what I'm saying, to take back we taking back our communities, and what we doing, and what I mean by that, as far as we need to teach the youth. We got to teach the people behind us, and it's up to us, the adults, even me and my generation, even the generation above me and the generation above them, to set that in stone and be that example.
Doing that to Pathfinders out in the village.
Yeah, yep, in the village.
So now, do you have a poem recited?
No, I'm gonna do this is an untitled piece. Is I never had a title for it, so I just titled it Untitled Questions.
Okay.
And it's how loud can the skin be? How loud can the culture be? How loud can fear be and become? Is it louder than the gunshots fired into a car, a back, the chest of someone's son, the screams of the mother, the hurt of the father, the hurt of us all? How loud is the sickening disease of racism, the unspoken anger, unaddressed trauma? How loud is it when your silence is deadlier than the quiet speakers of ignorance and injustice. How confusing, how bomb-like, how unconstitutional, how constitutional, how radical, how irrational, how sad, how did we get here? And that's Kaiser Kabir, unquestioned, unfinished, untitled, finished questions or whatever. I messed the whole piece up right there.
All right.
But no, and that's pretty much, that's, like I said, something I wrote and it was untitled. And I always had this story on the untitled, but then I'm thinking like, well, it's questions. And that kind of, like the question you just asked me, what can we do as a community to get back right? And then I feel like this poem is kind of answering that and addresses that.
All right.
Like I said,
we appreciate you sharing with us. We appreciate you on the show. All right. So that is the end of the show, episode 2. This is Pathfinders of Muskegon, where we also have a campaign running called I Am the Village. If you want more information about that, you can contact us at 231-733-1065. You can also go to our website at www.pathfindersofmuskegon.org. You can go to our YouTube page, which is Pathfinders of Muskegon, our Facebook page, which is Pathfinders of Muskegon. I'm your AmeriCorps service member, urban safety member of Muskegon Heights, Isaiah Gooden. You can contact me at AmeriCorpsPathfinder@gmail.com. You can also email Pathfinders at pathfinder2300@gmail.com. We thank you for our guest, Kamasi. You can contact him at reactradio@hotmail.com and www.reactradio.com, where they also have a podcast as well. And until next time.